So now we are at the last canto of the book of yoga, the 7th canto. It's a relatively short canto. There are only 2 sections, running into roughly 250 lines in all. The previous background is, as you know, Savitri was told to annul herself that only God may be. That was the nirvana which was recommended to Savitri. Annul herself all that is born of ignorance, which is death bound, which is born of inconscience, has to be emptied out. Only when it is emptied out, then only the divine light and the divine power can reside in it. Savitri had already established the divine power in her soul, but establishing the divine power in the soul is not sufficient because the outward nature, the physical nature, the vital nature, the mental nature, they remain as they are. They had to be also offered to the divine so that the divine can come and reside in all the parts of our being, outer being also. So she was told to annul herself. Annul means emptying out everything. Annul herself, that only God be. None else. Empty out the cup and only the divine joy, divine nectar can be filled in that cup. Savitri has done that. But there was a little problem also. When she is emptying herself out, it should not mean that she should get totally lost into the divine. If she gets lost into the divine, then the purpose for which she has taken this birth does not get fulfilled. She has to do some work here. She has to carry out the divine mission for which she has taken the mortal birth. And therefore, there is a difficulty annulling herself and yet remaining here. Savitri had number of choices. She could merge and disappear, laya, into the divine. Laya into the divine, it means she is totally out of the creation. Those who follow only the path of knowledge, knowledge alone, they merge into the self, into the divine, and disappear from this world. So the Isha Upanishad says that is not a proper way of doing things at all. By mrityu, by death, you cross ignorance. By knowledge, you should not get merged into the divine because you have work to do upon the earth, you see. So Savitri was conscious of that mission of hers and she could have flipped this way or that way, turned like a fulcrum, either this side or that side, into the dissolution, into the creation again. She remembers at that moment of time that she cannot go away, she has to do some work, and therefore that memory holds her back into the creation. A similar thing had happened in the case of Ashwapati also. When Ashwapati is about to witness the absolute realization, get the absolute realization, he could have disappeared into the absolute. But then the memory climbs back to him from the lower planes. Look, Ashwapati, you can't go away like that. You have come here for a work. You cannot disappear into the absolute. And therefore that memory brings him back again to the creation. A world's desire is there always with him, and that world's desire, Jagat Ichcha, is that with him which will hold him back. The Jagat Ichcha is not really something which is attachment, but it is something which is aspiring for the divine. It is that desire of the world, aspiring for the divine, which holds him back here, and he comes back to the earth, meets the Divine Mother, gets the boon from her, and of course then the story begins. Savitri is born. Now Savitri in her yoga is also at a very similar point. She could have disappeared, but the memory is there in her and she comes back. She comes back because the spirit which governs Savitri will not allow Savitri to go away. Savitri may have memory, may not have memory, but her spirit will not allow for Savitri to disappear into the divine, into God Himself. She has to do something. Therefore, we will begin this canto with a very pertinent description. In the little hermitage, in the forest heart, in the sunlight and the moonlight and the dark, the daily human life went plodding on, even as before with a small, unchanging world, and its spare outward body of routine and happy, quiet, ascetic peace. Happy, quiet, ascetic peace. It is in that hermitage, in the forest where they were dwelling, there is a happy, quiet, ascetic peace of contentment also is seen. Now this line, in the little hermitage, he says little. Little because Savitri had experienced the divine, of the entire vastness of the creation, of the infinity. Compared with that, this little spot, this little place where she is staying is practically nothing, is insignificant. But in the little hermitage, in the forest heart, you know the Shalva forest with all the green trees, emerald trees and all that thick forest, in the sunlight and the moonlight and the dark. So this is the hermitage, this is the forest, these are the locations, space, sthana, where things were happening. Here sunlight, moonlight and the dark. In the sequence of time, sun is there, night is there, sun is there. So in terms of space and time, the problem is specified. So in space and time, the daily human life went on in the usual plodding manner, struggling, trying to move forward constantly. It goes on like that. So Savitri had that divine experience of total, absolute God. But here now the daily human life plodding on, struggling, moving forward day by day like that, you see, on even as before with a small, unchanging world. See, all that the small life is busy is with small, unchanging works. Get up in the morning, do your daily things, take your breakfast, go to the forest, pull water, clean the house, light the kitchen fire. All those things are daily things are going on, let's say, daily life. And a spare outward body of routine and happy, quiet of ascetic peace. So in that the human life is plodding on. Daily human life is plodding on constantly, you see. Now, the contrast is sharp, is purposeful. The contrast is, well, she has the divine experience of infinity and eternity, in contrast to that now here in the mortal world she is living in the daily common life, you see. That is the basic idea here. But poetically, these are very beautiful lines. See the rhythm. In the little hermitage, in the forest heart, in the sunlight and the moonlight and the dark. See, there is a rhythm kind of a thing. In the sunlight and the moonlight and the dark. A purposeful rhythm is built into that thing, you see. In the little, see, metrically in the little, it is short, long. In the little, short, long. It's called anapest. So that starts with anapest. Little hermitage, her, that is short, long, I am. Hermitage is short, prick. In the forest, again here, in the forest, anapest. So you have got anapest, you have got I am, you have got prick. Now again, anapest, forest heart, I am. So the rhythm is very beautifully built, you see, in the little hermitage, in the forest heart. It goes on like that, you see. Now, this word hermitage can be uttered. The voice can be, it can be hermitage. It can be the hermitage. You see, it can be also hermitage. But that would not go, hermitage would not go with the rhythm which is there in the line. Hermitage. You see, you read now in the little hermitage, see the whole thing is gone. The sound value is totally different. It is lost totally. You have to read as hermitage, you see, hermitage, in the forest heart. So that is the beauty of poetry. And again, see the thing, how many times T is repeated. T is here, T is here, T is here, T is here. That is the alliteration of T. The sound carries forward the entire movement. T, 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 T. Same thing, hermitage. H is there, H is there. So, see, the poetic technique is fully utilized in bringing out this very simple line. There is nothing complicated in this line. In the little hermitage, in the forest heart, the T, the H's, the S's, all those things build up the rhythm and the movement of sound to really create the entire atmosphere of the hermitage, you see. So that way I would say poetically, this is a marvelous line, you see. Very unusual kind of a line, you see, with all this possibility. In the sunlight, again here, in the sunlight, in the sunlight. That is short, long, anapace. So you have got two anapace here, the third anapace is here. Now in the sunlight, light and I, that is short, prick. Again, the moonlight, the I am. The moonlight, and again short here, and the dark, I am. So see, the variation of feet removes the monotony of poetry which is there if it is the same thing. Again the line here, the daily human life went plodding on, went plod. See, there is a kind of a thrust here. Went plodding. Both the things, both the syllables are stressed, that is spondy. So in the moment of I am, in the daily, the human life went plodding on. So you got am, suddenly spondy, again period. So that builds up the entire rhythm. So poetically, this is a wonderful sentence actually. If you see in the little hermitage, in the forest heart, in the sunlight, and the moonlight, and the dark, the daily human life went plodding on, even as before, with a small, unchanging world, and its fair, outward body of routine, and happy quiet of ascetic peace. So the whole atmosphere, becomes so serene, so sweet. At the same time, there is a kind of a wideness of tranquil movement throughout the scene. Tranquil movement is there, see. The old beauty smiled of the terrestrial scene. Now it says old beauty. Actually, it is not really old in the sense that it is very old and it has become, it's not that kind of a thing. The old beauty, Savitri had gone into the divine arena. Therefore, when she comes back, all this forest, all these things around her are the old beauty for her. She has recollected now, oh yes, I have been here, I have been here, I have been here. So in that sense, it is old. You see. The beauty is the same, but now she has come from her consciousness to look at it, and therefore old. Old beauty, smile of the terrestrial scene. So the whole terrestrial scene now is in front of her, and it is smiling at Savitri. Smiling, why? What a wonderful thing Savitri has done. Nature is happy, the whole creation is happy that Savitri has gone to the Absolute and decided, so to say, to come back, smile. She too was her old gracious self to men. She stands for Savitri. This was Savitri. She too was her old gracious. Old means it is not Savitri has suddenly become very old. She is still that young girl, maybe around 22, 23. She is still but old because she had gone to the infinity and come back, and therefore she is recovering her old consciousness, her own physical senses, perception. She too was her old gracious self to men, because it is for men that she has come back. She could have easily gone away, but she has come back because of this earth. You see. The ancient mother clutched her child to her breast. That is the important thing. Who is this ancient mother? It is the nature, earth herself, who brings back Savitri. She is holding back. Savitri, you cannot go away. So she is pulling her back into this world, the ancient mother, because it is the ancient mother who has been supervising, guiding Savitri's yoga all along. For the purposes, for the sake of ancient mother, she did this yoga. And at this point, it is she now who is pulling her back into this creation and clutched her child to her breast. She is holding her. Savitri, you cannot go away. You have to stay here. You have some work to do for me in this world. Therefore, she is holding back like that, pressing her close in her environing arms. So all the surroundings which are there, they are holding back Savitri, as if earth, ever the same, could forever keep the living spirit and body of her clasp. So it is as though she could always keep her back with her, living spirit and body in her clasp. Savitri's living spirit, Savitri's living body could be always kept back by the ancient mother, as if death were not there, nor end, nor change. It is something which death cannot undo. There is no end for Savitri being with the ancient mother. She cannot change from that, you see. Then the living spirit and body in her class, as if death were not there. So indirectly, the poet is also already telling that yes, Savitri has triumphed in her yoga. She has the full realization what she should do. What is the realization? That death would not be there. He is kind of anticipating that tomorrow Satyavan is going to die, but he is not there. He will be always there. He is not going to die. Death were not there, you see. Accustomed only to read outward signs, none saw aught new in her, none divined her state. They saw a person where was only God's voice, a still being or a mighty nothingness. Accustomed only, what do we see all around? We see routine things, common things, and judge things in a common manner. We don't have deeper insight. We don't have perception that things can change and can be different from what we are. So, accustomed only to outward signs, none saw. All the people in the forest, the rishis were there, the sages were there, the disciples were there, Savitri's parents-in-law were there, Savitri's her own husband is there, but none saw that a great change has taken place in Savitri. Outwardly, it is not known to them at all. None saw anything anywhere. That Savitri has changed. Savitri is there now, totally different, but our sight, our perception are not in a position to really understand the kind of a change which has taken place in Savitri. Nothing has changed. None saw aught. None saw anything new in her. She looked to them as usual girl, doing all the household and routine things as she was doing all along, you see. None saw aught new in her. None divined her state, that she had attained that divinity, that kind of a divine state. None could see that thing at all. They saw a person where was only God's vast. Yes, she is a human person there, and they see only the human Savitri there, but actually it is not human Savitri anymore. It is the vastness of God Himself who is now embodied in Savitri. Vast God is now living completely in Savitri. Why? Only God was, because Savitri was told, annul yourself that only God be. She was told, let only God be. So, people do not see that there is only God in her and nothing else. People are not able to understand that thing at all. A still being or a mighty nothingness. To all, she was the same perfect Savitri. Obviously, Savitri had been always a loving girl. Savitri was always perfect in her actions and feelings and emotions and expressions. And they saw, well, this is the same kind of a Savitri who is now in front of them. To all, she was the same perfect Savitri, a greatness and a sweetness and a light poured out from her upon her little world. None saw that greatness, none saw that she was somebody else, but there was what? A greatness and a sweetness and a light. See again the rhythm, a greatness and a sweetness and the rhythm is I am prick, I am prick, I am prick. Short long, short short, short long, short short, short long. That's the rhythm again. A greatness and a sweetness and a light poured out from her upon her little world. So constantly Madhurya and Mahat, they are constantly, and the Prakash, they are constantly pouring out from her person. A greatness and sweetness and light Prakash poured out from her upon her little world. The whole world is filled up because of that thing. Life showed to all the same familiar face. But all people see, well, this is my Savitri. Yes, she is the same Savitri. People don't understand that she is pouring out greatness and sweetness and light. People don't have that perception. They are not developed that spiritual faculty to see the change which has taken place in Savitri. Life showed to all the same familiar face. Her acts followed the old unaltered round. She is doing all her constantly, her daily routine works, you see. She spoke the words that she was wont to speak. The way she was speaking earlier to everybody, in the same manner she is speaking to everybody, as if nothing has changed in her. She spoke the words that she was used to speak to everybody and did the thing that she had always done, pulling the water from the well, carrying all the household duties, sweeping the floor, lighting the kitchen fire. She has been doing constantly all those things and did the thing that she had always done. So in spite of all these great spiritual experiences and realizations, Savitri is engaged in daily acts as if nothing has changed in her.